with.
It's interesting as well because we were seeing a little bit of supply drought in those final moments as well. So having those usage in the right place is good.
All right, well, gentlemen, it's time to get into our first match of the day with a new casting duo, Kalaris and Maxman.
We're so new! That's right, it's going to be game number 7 here to get us in. We are on Sandhawk, and I want to see an opportunity for some of these teams not have to play Edge on Sandhawk. However, we might end up seeing that because that's how Sandhawk normally works. I'm with Maxman. We are here to break down everything and be dry. No, we're probably going to do some play-by-play as well, probably.
Ooh, yeah. A little bit of play-by-play every once in a while. But yeah, hyped to be here back again for the start and some good old Sandhawk action here. And I'm looking at Brute Force. Are they going to be aiming to just eliminate teams in the first minute or two of the Sandhawk because they're out for blood on this battleground in particular, but seeing if anything else a bit different happens. We're still seeing, oh wait, Pineland is completely free now. Only Regnum Courier is taking that spot. And Nexus are going to be merging a little bit with some players of Demuerte. Demuerte, it happened yesterday. They lost a player to, I believe, Tixi from Gladiators. This split is very dangerous.
Okay, so I was talking about this earlier with some of the guys. I actually did think maybe Demuerte would become a victim of Nexus on this battleground because for Nexus, you don't want to stray too far away from your normal drop spot, which means that you go to the trash spots, which means if your Demuerte is as split as they were, you can punish them very, very quickly. I think also Gladiators has identified that heavy split, so he's looking for an easy elimination up at the top.
Yeah, and Tixi, as always, just not doing anything in the early game, just trying to loot up, trying to potentially secure trifecta. Though at least GK, one of the only times, Kalaris, they will not be fighting in the first 2 minutes of a game. So take it in.
They don't want it.
It's not going to happen very often. What did they say on Desk? They hot dropped 5 of the 6 matches yesterday. Mostly versus Mad Balls and Rozok and then Picardo fights. So bit weird. But yeah, Demuerte then, of course, as you said, going to be punished for this split. Teams have spotted this out. And well, Tapok, as good as you are, might not be good enough to 1v4 Gladiators.
Yeah, potential reinforcements are quite far away for them here, but Meku is already down. That's not very good start for them at all. He also got Matic as well, and he could actually go for this. Kitsune, though, will finish off Tapok and get him done. But Lamentrix on the way now. I don't think they expected 2 to be knocked as easily as they have done here. Gladiators needs to recover and get this back up smoothly.
I thought they were just going to overwhelm Tapok really quickly, but no, actually he was able to buy so much time that Elementrix had a little bit of more impact in that fight. So well executed as Kitsune going to go for the nice little res on his teammate, trying to hopefully get everyone back up, because we are seeing some shots, actually. We saw a shot, I think, from Octavian over towards Hatin, and he actually got the initial knock onto Gladiator, so that did help turn the tides in favor of Demuerte. As now Kose is just up north. He wants nothing to do with this. He's out of here.
Yeah, he did a little speeder on over on the water and then decided, well, I can't really do anything. I'm going to turn back. And again, if you're going for this split as Demuerte, honestly, you're always going to get punished on this battleground.
True.
When teams are able to walk away after one night and identify how they could best punish this for an easier limb point here or there, there's no way they're going to pass it up. They have to, on the next day's Sandhawks, reformulate a strategy to Demuerte.
Exactly. I mean, even though Sandhawk is not like the majority of your battlegrounds, you want to do better on Narango and Miramar, it is still one game that's going to add up over time. Exactly. Yeah. It's just not good for the morale of the team. It is going to hurt you in the long run. Actually, something I spotted out, James, that's very interesting is, excuse me, as we know, to avoid hot drop in GK in the side of Bootcamp, they went for the warehouses north, instantly rotate super fast actually into Trifecta, because we know that typically, Gladiators, I mean, we saw it also in the elimination feed, taking a fight versus Demuerte, Trifecta's available. This circle, is it going to go mainland? Is it going to go Southwest Island? We expect the Southwest Island to potentially be the end result, but excuse me, with the fastest rotation ever we've seen from them in PMRC, currently in the best position, so I'm loving it. Excuse me, more of that, please. Yes.
There, the bridge south of it, and then Painan. Those are the 3 main locations that you would probably want to pitch up on in a circle like this, where it's still a little bit up in the air as to where we're going to be going, right? So for these teams, as they're kind of jostling around, like Regnum Kaya, for example, not really a whole lot of reason to leave Painan at present. They might send 1 or 2 to compounds near it, just so that they've got an extra anchor point into these circles, but for the most part, they'll be sitting pretty happy.
Yeah, I mean, really good position right now. Really easy transition point across the rivers, which is causes the demise of most of the teams when they transition later on in the game. So it's good that you can just easily make that transition on those islands later on. Fireflux also a lot quicker on the move away from Paradise. Currently made it out of the rough terrain around Paradise Resort, skirting over to the east of Bootcamp. Might go for similar rotation to, excuse me, going for Bootcamp Hill, because GK have not made that transition yet. So there's a lot of possibilities, but one thing I'm looking at is Gangsters all towards docks, might be going full rotation on the West Coast, which would be a really good strat. Not many teams are there, except for some players of Enigma Galaxy and Mad Bulls.
And let's be real, they've got to keep that blue time up, right? They said on the desk 15 minutes per player or something.
Bring it to 20.
You've got to bump it up a little bit. Perfect place to do it is Sandhawk. We're very familiar with that. Of course, it's been changed a lot since we saw those healing strategies. But yeah, you can still do this for now.
So Enigma Galaxy, actually, they're split away from Same, their typical drop that they've been dropping there since 1998. And they're slowly moving towards GQ, which have got currently a decent compound, road trifecta position. I don't expect Enigma Galaxy to push this. It doesn't make much sense to me. Just, at least you got information, the team is there, you're not going to send it. Don't take it, please. Don't need to.
You sound so concerned.
I am.
I think they're just scouting, mate. They'll be fine.
The thing is, I know Enigma
right.
Galaxy, and I know they're like, oh, we want to push it. Oh.
Well, it's just Coops, actually.
Oh, Coops. Pretty much.
No, but I mean, Freak is far away as well. And if you're going to actually have a 1-2 punch from Enigma Galaxy, you would want Coops and Freak to be in there like swimwear very quickly. Both of them doing a fantastic job yesterday. Freak being almost able to keep up with Coops in terms of those eliminations. And meanwhile, Nexus has pitched up on the warehouses north of Boot Camp. And honestly, you still don't want to go into Boot Camp.
Still dodge it, yeah. It's just not worth it. GK are typically very slow to leave boot camp, so who knows?
Yeah.
No, you know they're still going to be in that position. And actually, Fireflux did what I said. They're going for boot camp heal because, as we already said, GK are slow to leave boot camp. So why the hell not? Fireflux could get a good point of information up there on the hilltop. As teams are starting to now center up. A few teams that are renowned for being slow to rotate, like Falcons, Vision, RTG, Gangsters, are going to have to initiate that rotation soon because that blue zone, as we know, starts ticking a little bit harder if you stay there for too long.
Good.
As it should.
As it should here. But our first shift's going to tell us a lot about this game. Unless it centers up towards, again, that bridge, that Painan area, then it's going to cause a lot of problems for these teams. Obviously, that Northwest Island, a lot less likely to really become a focus point. So you slowly seeing Gladiators slowly move down that Northwest Island, kind of debating in their head how they're going to get across. And we'll see where the circle goes.
Mad Bull's actually in a really good position because if it does go to the southern western island, this is really good to gatekeep teams trying to cross the bridge. So you could get easy eliminations throughout this game. And they did leave ruins. I was scared they'd stay there for too long, but actually goes somewhat center, a little bit higher north. So the trifecta is still in play, but now you're going to have some teams that are going to start thinking, we're going to have to cross the river eventually. That will be super risky later on down the line.
They were just looking for an opportunity here, weren't they? Some shots coming in, just waiting for them to even leave the buildings means that Nox could start coming in. Yeah. And if Enigma Galaxy, obviously we didn't see the very start of this fight, but if they were very smart about this, you hold your trigger finger for a little bit, allow them to run outside just a little bit, and then allow 2 or 3 to show themselves. Then you start the fire raining down on this compound. And speaking of fire, ooh, that might actually catch him. No, it does not. He was able to move back.
Yeah, you see right away GQ understand, we have to get actually out of the building because mollies are so strong to breach these type of compounds. It locks out huge portions of the map, and even though he's outside, gets hit by the molly. Another one is going to be thrown out by Ralph. That's going to be the nade traded off, and Toffiz is going to be confirmed out. And yeah, GQ now down to 2 is Corker and AC. And Enigma Galaxy, I mean, sure, you said they could maybe have held the trigger a little bit longer, but so far it's been working out great.
Oh, yeah.
And those nades and mollies are doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
Absolutely. The 2 knocks that they had to recover from the GQ, that bought so much time for Enigma Galaxy to close the gap, get on in here. That's a good little trade, though, from Corker to start things off, but he will go down. And they do lose 1 for it, but it is enough of a team wipe to keep them in a steady spot up at the top now.
Yeah, Ralph did push it a little bit too solo, so he's going to get confirmed and punished for his sins in this game. But Mad Bulls, actually, during this fight, have taken even more control in the center of the map. There's a nice little bit of elevation southeast of Ruins, which is going to give some good info on teams maybe coming out from the south, coming out from the eastern edge. So I do like that they're just keeping their options open, waiting for Phase 3, Phase 4 to just regroup and have the better position under control.
And it's access to good compounds too. There's some great compounds in that area that they're probably going to be eyeing up a little later on when they want to actually fully group up. But I mean, coming back to a point you were saying before, Max, man, it's... Max, man, comma. Anyway, as we take a look back at these shots as well, they waited for them to get in the vehicle. It's perfect, right? But mollies have, I would say, a heightened efficiency rating on Sandhawk, as you say, because of those floors and stuff like that, because so many of these shacks are just the wooden shacks and stuff like that. There's other buildings in other battlegrounds that exist like that, but so much on Sandhawk. So mollies, A+ here for Sandhawk.
Yeah, 100%. Except for like the Camp Alphas, Camp Charlies, etc., and Paradise Resort Boot Camp. Otherwise, most compounds have wooden floors. So it's really strong. Talking about strong, Ketch, one of the top players of Turkey, gets himself a nice little knock and confirm. Currently up to 2 limbs, but Soulless knocked. You don't want to lose him. This is the mini 14 king from day one.
I think this was a little bit calculated by Fireflux. Staying on that boot camp hill to the south, they realized that GK does linger for quite a while, so all they had to do was wait for an eventual move. That being said, though, third parties are still a potential. You can see Falcons in the distance, so can Fireflux. They realize they're there, and they're not going to bide their time too long. They're going to relocate.
Yeah, I mean, Kalaris, we know that Falcons love their third parties, right?
Yes, yes.
That is going to be their game plan. If they can go for a third party, chances are they're going to be full sending that third party eventually. But because GK tried to actually make it to Bootcamp Hill, that opens up Bootcamp. Nexus has transitioned into there, and you know they're like thinking, what is going to be our next opportunity? Maybe third party that. It's not an easy third party because it's an uphill battle, literally. But this circle is going to be very telling of how the rest of this game is going to play out because these rivers are 100% going to come into play.
I'm still a little bit surprised that Gladiators is still so far north on a circle like this. I was expecting them to maybe take the bridge or at least scout it out and try and use that as a transition. And I mean, look at this circle now. Lingering up in the north like this, it's just a little bit slow. And look at the very south. Good old gangsters in the blue. Let's get those numbers up. Bump them up.
I want 20 minutes after this.
20 minutes.
Average.
Yes.
As you said, right now Gladiators can go for the Western Bridge because no one is there. We know Mad Balls do not linger towards Ruins for that long. They tend to try and go for the southeast of Ruins really quickly, get to that strong compound, that little bit of elevation. So right now, if you've done your research, you should know it is available. As we see a replay of how this fight broke out and Ketch. That's how he got the 2 elimination. Oh, that was a great spray onto Guy. Yep. And gets the instant confirm. I mean, you need the points right now because they're in first place. If they can distance that lead on the Sandhawk, that could be massive for the rest of the day.
Definitely, definitely. Now, I mean, it's just a case of how they're going to make these transitions. They're still lingering on the main island, whilst teams are starting to pitch up, like, south of Ruins on a ridge that's very strong. All those compounds that we were talking about from Mad Bulls here, they've kind of found themselves a hillside and one of the stronger compounds. You can see, as we look at this overview here, it actually has a good high angle on a lot of the area, despite the tree coverage, etc. So it's a strong spot they have.
I'm a little bit scared. The fact that you have so many teams like Next Riyadh playing that ridge line followed with Mad Balls. I'm looking back at the team you mentioned earlier, is Gladiators. Their entry point through this bridge is going to be around Ruins, which is a very vulnerable position. It is not easy to transition. You do have a compound a little bit further down, but are they going to get there completely untouched, undamaged, is my question mark, because teams might be looking your way. Also, potentially Enigma Galaxy, they can take a few sneaky shots. So not given transition, but if they're fast enough, it might be easy to pull off.
It's especially questionable because Meku was swimming
yes,
whilst the other guys were coming over the bridge. But anyway, that's by the by. Let's take a look at some of these fights here. Zerich still holding on at the moment. Gangsters have found themselves a potential entrance on that west side. But next Ruya, this is a strong spot. We've seen this ridge line be very instrumental in victories in the past. Some teams have abandoned it a little bit too early, and we weren't happy with that. But look at it. It's the M24 Master himself. M24 Master.
I was going to say he doesn't have the M24, unfortunately. So I'm a bit disappointed.
Rough.
Would like to see some sniper, some good old bolt action. But we've seen a lot of Mini 14, so I'll take what I can throughout that first day of PMRC. As still RTG, Falcons going for their wide rotate southwest towards Nakam. So they're going to get there in the circle eventually. But a lot of teams lingering in the blue, like Nexus. We've seen some plays from Fireflux, Brute Force, GK. But because we know that these bridges, these rivers you're trying to cross over are so tough to cross, so you're trying to buy as much time as possible, but the blue zone, starting this phase, is going to start taking really hard.
Fireflux is all in one vehicle, and actually they're very near Brute Force right now, south of Painan, as we're waiting for this circle to actually shift.
It worked out.
So here they are. And now they've got to be very careful. They did get instantly 2 knocks. Oh my, that really causes a lot of problems for Brute Force, who could have potentially tried to hold them. Oh my.
Whoa.
Hello?
What?
Okay, they're on the warpath.
Ketch is on 5 already.
What? Okay.
Actually, one little thing about this that was really good. There's a very small portion of that river that's shallow enough where you can have a car, and they just drove it right there, instantly just stop the car, play that little ridge, take the shots onto Brute Force. What the hell?
That was really
huge.
well executed. Super fast reaction times on spotting exactly where Brute Force were and absolutely annihilating them. Great stuff, Fireflux, or Ketch alone, for the most part. But as we're taking a look, Vision here does actually have an alright spot down to the south. They do know where Mad Bulls is, though, so they're going to be firing a few shots, a few volleys off at them. Oh, no! The car for Fireflux has completely exploded, and everybody has died in it. Hello? Regnum Carrier must have exploded the vehicle. There's no other way.
Yeah, it is. It's Ezel. Actually, Ezel99 got himself that final blow on the car and got himself 4 eliminations for the price of 1 final bullet. So, good trade for it. I mean, it was not even a trade. It was a one-sided deal.
I want to see the replay of that. But anyway, I mean, the fact of the matter is that, honestly, most of the times, never have just one vehicle.
Yeah, especially on Sanhok. It's definitely a map where cars are just punished a lot more compared to your Wrangles or your Miramars. We'll have to see, though. Mad Bull's actually transitioned away from their northern compound, southeast of Ruins, a little bit deeper, a little bit more central in this position. Good information gathering on Vision Esports, Enigma Galaxy. They're playing so far these 2 road compounds, which are very strong. Not the easiest to leave, though, if the circle does move away from those positions. So it could be a bit deadly. As I'm looking at right now, Gladiators lost 2 players on the transition.
Exactly, down to 2. And I can't help but feel they could have been here so much earlier. Now it looks like Lath is going to try and find Kitsune here. Off for this. He does actually have an AUG as well. And then the drive up, trying to really put a lot of pressure on Kitsune here. He has a DBS. How is he going to play this? Goes around the corner on the left, tries to go for the knock, does not get it though. Mon will take him out. And it's now just Tixi left alive.
Yeah, good stuff from Siphon Mon actually getting 2 angles trying to just overwhelm Kitsune behind that rock. We know how strong those rocks can be over on Sanhok, so good execution from Vision. As things now continue to move on, waiting for the circle, but we're seeing some big fights unfolding over to the east. Mostly it's going to be Regnum Carrier versus Nexus Gaming. Nexus has been in the blue for ages. I feel like they might just be already severely wounded, so maybe not fully ready to take a fight versus Regnum.
Yeah, you get into the circle and then you have to heal up, and then at the same time, people probably see you coming in from the blue but don't exactly take shots. So, as you can already see, Kapala is under a lot of bullet fire here. Will get knocked as well. Regnum Carrier's able to convert a lot here on this side. Does he also have 5 limbs?
Yeah, it's the Ezel and Ketch show today. What's going on?
Love it.
Yeah, having a great time. They're actually north, we can see on the circle as it does shift towards the road, so the compounds of Vision and Enigma Galaxy are still in play. But actually now that wide rotation from Gangsters is paying off so massively, and they could actually get away with a chicken dinner because the west is pretty much unoccupied except for RTG south.
Position-wise, whilst there's so much to talk about, but there's also fights going on here. Frozen's doing a pretty good job of holding this. Next Ruya holding this ridge line was important in previous circles, now not as much. I do want to talk about this though, as we take a look at, okay, the replay, yes! So probably just an absolute hailstorm of bullets and an instant explode. That was great stuff by Regnum Carrier. I can't help but feel Tixi's gone. The Gladiators is out. But I think they're giving the lobby too much respect sometimes and not moving quick enough. If they were down here, kind of where Gangsters is, Gangsters gets hauled out way earlier in the game.
I fully agree. It's very similar to what we saw from DRS back in the All-Star stage, right? Very passive, really smart, getting in circles, but when they would get in that late game stage, wouldn't really execute anything on that position, and we've seen something very similar with Gangsters. So hopefully take a little bit more control, try and just shut down a rotation from Enigma Galaxy later on, maybe Vision or RTG in the south would be great. The next Rhea, slowly but surely going to be entering. We do have Black-White, just a remaining final player of Excuse Me that did survive the assault. But next Rhea taking that fight is huge because they cleared their backs. That's a way easier transition if you want to crash on Enigma Galaxy, which might be what they're going for.
Yeah, they're going to try for it. How much will this do? And Enigma Galaxy is currently split across this compound, so it's a perfect time for them. Meanwhile, though, reinforcing shots coming in. That's actually not even Enigma Galaxy putting the boot in against the next Rhea. They're going to end up getting absolutely obliterated. These off angles, multiple teams were shooting at them from all over the place. This is what you got to be scared of on Sanhok, man.
Yeah, that off angle in the sniper tower was massive from Kevin. Though, are we going to see even more execution behind it? We have to see Regnum Carrier looking for the breach in the compound of Vision Esports, initially getting so many extra knocks. Do they have mollies or not? I don't know, but molly would be huge to just wrap up this fight, but it doesn't matter. They jump it into the windows, getting even more eliminations. Ezel on 5, 2 for Wild, and looking to get full control of the east.
I love the timing Regnum Carrier actually pushed on this. They realized Vision was shooting all the way at next Rhea, kind of reinforcing that fight that was going on in the compound over. Take advantage of that. In the chaos, hit this compound where they're not aware of what's going on. Safe will go down as well. 2 Falcons in the distance. And now here, if Regnum Carrier get in this compound and hold strong, it's another good win for them in this game, I would say.
I do wonder, are we going to see a crash coming out from Mad Bulls here? Because right now, if they delay their rotation, Enigma Galaxy, Vision and Esports are going to be completely ruining your rotation. So you might want to try and get to a point of interest. You've got a few building of Vision Esports compound still available, so it's good to just get into the circle, heal up, and just hopefully get a little bit more intel on where the other remaining squads currently stand. Astron the nade does put him low, but Volt really Holding on solo here versus the full strength of Regnum Kario. What a play.
You've got to get rid of him. You've got to get rid of him soon as well, because you want to make sure that Mad Bulls, as you say, can't leapfrog ahead of you. So you need to finish this fight off fast and then start worrying about the problem that could be north of you.
Zerich actually just crossed over the road. They're slowly but surely here, Kalaris, closing that gap with this fight of Regnum Kario and Vision Esports. The nade comes out, and that's it for Vision, taken out in 7th. Now 5 teams remaining, as all the teams are just falling down one by one.
This is Zell once again. Great stuff here by Regnum Kario. Here comes Zerich, though. He scouted this out, and he knows exactly to hit this. This comes at the unfortunate pace that which Regnum Kario took the previous fight. They've been caught off guard once again, trying to hold the angle here with that DBS, and will be successful, but a nade catches him.
Yeah, good stuff coming out. Still Regnum Kario, even if they go out right now, they still have 10 eliminations. A massive win on this first game to kick off day 2 of PMRC. So the nade's still going to be traded back. Zerich. That could be a decent one onto Loxy.
Could be. Good bounce.
Oh, gets it done. That's it. Goodbye, Regnum Kario. Straight back to the lobby. And Zerich nice. Kicking things off in style. Up to 2 elims right now. Confirms it onto Reva. They're starting to turn on the heat. These buildings are so crucial to now heal up and to start thinking of how they're going to transition across the roads. Smokes are going to be of the essence.
Mad Bulls ramping it up, and they do have, it's not only buildings, it's also kind of like a half sniper tower that you can use to lie down in, have that third-person perspective across to gain a lot of information, but you're going to need those good transitions soon here. Frozen's probably going to go down. I mean, the problem is transitioning over the road, which is going to be a huge problem. And Gangsters is alive. 7 limbs. They sneaky guys, man. They're making these big wide rotates, and they're making it work.
I mean, that wide rotate to the west worked out great, Kalaris. Yeah. And the thing is, I do feel like I still wanted to see more, but you know what? The circle's just constantly heading and shifting to the west. And now they have 3 angles. They have a 2-1-1 split currently. That's it for Mad Bulls. That transition across the road was just not possible, Kalaris. And now only the strength of Nigma Galaxy can wither away onto Gangsters.
Can Gangsters clutch it out? I mean, of course, yes, they have the man advantage. However, we've seen them in a late game scenario before, and they weren't able to do it. They weren't able to make it happen on an Erangel. So, going up against Nigma Galaxy, very hard, heavy competitor. Coops almost done. They didn't quite catch him with that nade.
Actually really smart. They're just pushing it all onto Yusef because he's currently taken away. He's split away from the rest of the squad. So if you can get that opening knock, that could be massive. Again, there's some decent smokes actually to block out some extra vision out from Gangsters. But these rocks are just so strong. You just can't push Yusef away unless you have nades.
Yeah, there's no urgency for Gangsters to throw smokes, but there is for Enigma Galaxy. They have to somehow make a transition to a slightly higher ground position here, because right now they're fighting against that. But a nade's going to come in and cause them problems on the transition. Yeah,
Jafar also staying a little bit further out in the blue to really secure that nice angle. The moment those smokes dissipate, it will be the end. Yusef is going to be taken on out. That is the push you need from Nigma Galaxy. Up to 6 limbs, now 7 as they confirm the knock. And Gangsters now currently is going to be pretty much a split. They still have a little bit more angles, I'd say, Kalaris, but right now Nigma Galaxy may be able to get this game back in their control.
And this is the reason why I said, can they clutch it, even though they had the man advantage. Right now, I'm looking at 2 squads, and I'd see a skill difference. Nigma Galaxy was able to make this push work in a very well-orchestrated manner up the edge of this circle, made it even, and I would say wrestled a strong spot away from them. Nice off-angle, though, from Jafar.
Yeah, Coops tried to get himself an off-angle, but taken away. Freak and Lord remaining. Freak taking so much damage. One put is who we need. He's down. He's dead. And that's for Lord now remaining in the 1v2. And that's it. Gangster secured himself their first chicken dinner here in PMRC on day 2.
And it's a big one, Max. It's a big one. It's 21 points on a Sandhawk here. And looking at how they're taking on one of the, I'm going to say, the kings of their region, that's a brilliant win here.